Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Friends, we gotta get a clear picture as to what went on here, continue our post-election analysis, and one of the best ways to do that is take a look at the exit polls. Forbes just released a piece titled The Exit Polls A to Z, and so I want to take a look at how the demographics split and what issues were important to different voters, and let's try to have an honest conversation and figure out exactly what happened here. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so take a look at this piece right over here from Forbes, the 2022 exit polls A to Z. Two substantial undertakings by the pollsters give us insight into who voted and how they voted, and why voters cast their votes the way that they did. The results below are from initial reports and they could change slightly. The NEP, the National Election Pool, made up of ABC, CBS, CNN, and NBC and Edison Research, conduct an exit poll of early voters and voters leaving the polls on election day. In addition, the consortium uses telephone, email, and text surveys to reach by mail and early voters. And now in general, we know these mainstream leftist media outlets tend to be incredibly inaccurate when it comes to their forecasting of election results, but the exit polls are a little bit different because they're surveying people who are actually voting, people who are walking out on election day, and people who voted by mail or during early voting days. And all they do is segment these people depending on where they stand on the political spectrum, race, gender, identity, and you start to see a trend. And so let's take a look at what happened. First off, the issue of abortion. We knew that it wasn't going to be a winning issue for Republicans. But of course, the common thought process based on all of the data that we had available was that inflation, the economy, and crime would be a more important issue to voters than abortion, and that in the end, it wouldn't really matter. While many people are arguing that the Dobbs decision might have had a bigger impact after all. Abortion. The NEP used a four-part question and found that 29% said that abortion should be legal in all cases, 30% said legal in most, 26% said illegal in most, and 10% illegal in all cases. In AP Votecast, 63% that it should be legal in almost all cases and 36% illegal in most or all. On the issue of abortion, and look, this is not my personal take, this is just objective fact, Democrats won. But I don't think it was as impactful as people are making it seem. Based on the data that we have here, the most important issues facing the country, 47% named the economy and jobs, 9% abortion, and separately climate change and immigration, and 8% crime. Abortion, climate change, immigration, and crime were essentially all tied, abortion being slightly higher. Did it have an impact that benefited Democrats? Yes. If we take a look at exit polling data with women, the gender gap was 22 points in election 2022 in the early NEP. It was 12 points in the AP Votecast preliminary voter surveys. Women were slightly more than half of all voters. Women voted 53% for Democrats, 45% for Republicans. Men voted 56% for Republicans and 42% for Democrats, basically in line with what you might expect. Where the issue of abortion might have played more of a role in swinging the vote is in Gen Zers. Gen Zers did show up to vote this time. Born between 1997 and 2012, they're 10 to 25 years old. Those between 18 to 24 were 7% of all voters, and they voted 61% for Democratic candidates and 36% for the GOP ones. So the Dobbs issue clearly got the youth activist vote to head to the polls. That was a factor. And the most astonishing thing that we're learning here is the slip with independents. Republicans and Democrats, both groups were overwhelmingly loyal to their parties. A slight plurality, 36% of voters in the NEP said they were Republicans, followed by 33% who said that they were Democrats. Independents or something else was 31%. Independents voted narrowly for Democratic House candidates, 49 to 47%. In good GOP years, independents vote substantially for GOP candidates, which is exactly what we were predicting. Joe Biden's approval rating with independents has been in the 20s, in the gutter. Independents support Republicans on all of the top major issues. But for some reason, apparently independents didn't want to give Republicans a red wave this time round. The question is it on the issue of abortion? Did all the Democrat fear-mongering on this issue cause hesitation with independent voters who didn't want to see a federal abortion ban? It's honestly possible. Independent presidential approval rating and independent voter intentions when it comes to Congress and the Senate are two entirely different things. Maybe there's a good chunk of independent or moderate voters who just wanted to see an even party split across the Senate and the House. That's something to consider. That's going to make a lot of you guys unhappy. But what we're doing here is analyzing the numbers objectively. Because what was expected, what should have happened if this was a referendum on Joe Biden's leadership without other issues interfering, we should have seen a massive GOP surge in support with independents. Republicans didn't win over independents like they should have. And that must be analyzed. You got to get to the bottom of that. Without winning independents, independents, you don't win elections. That is 100% fact. And what Democrats did during this election season was they took control of the message. With the leaking of the Dobbs decision, Joe Biden's attack on ultra-MAGA extremism and his blood-red speech, the January 6th Insurrection Commission, and Democrats have the power to do that. I mean, they control the media. And Republicans, of course, like usual, failed in their campaigning efforts. I mean, outside of Ron DeSantis, when's the last time you saw Republicans really going after emergency power abuse, lockdowns, the suspension of civil liberties? And if we go back to the exit polls, only 2% mentioned the pandemic as being their top issue. And quote, pandemic voters voted for Democrats at 65 to 28%. There were so many winning issues that Republicans could have really appealed to independents on. And like usual, they let the Democrat establishment cause major distractions. Republicans played a reactive game, reacting to whatever the Democrats wanted to make the discussion about. And in that process, it seems as though the GOP failed to make a coherent, strong message or appeal to independent voters. I mean, in a moment like this, after everything that Democrats did, I mean, look at Tony Evers in Wisconsin and Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan. After all of that, independents possibly broke for Democrats. That's wild, and that's a GOP Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy failure. Here's the way that I look at it. Democrats had the issue of abortion, and they said it over and over again. Every single day, they hammered on that issue nonstop. Celebrities, the media, politicians, over and over and over again. And they created momentum around that issue. It was a small amount of momentum. It wasn't the most important issue, but it was momentum nonetheless. Republicans had inflation, the economy, lockdowns, emergency power abuse, CRT, education, of course, lockdowns of schools, so many winning issues, but they didn't hammer them home, at least not to the extent that they made enough noise for independents to pay attention and feel motivated to go to the polls and cast their vote for Republicans. There was so much bickering and in-party fighting, and Republicans like Liz Cheney, like I mentioned earlier, literally campaigning for Democrats. Like usual, the GOP establishment assumed the fetal position, cowered, allowed Democrats to steer the national conversation, and these are the results. A lot of people are saying it's Donald Trump's fault. No, it's not, because if Donald Trump was involved in this election process, you know damn well that Republican messaging would be getting out there to independent voters. This is a failure on the GOP establishment, and maybe they did it on purpose so that they can now throw Donald Trump under a bus. Because in the one place in Florida, where they actually ran a campaign on these issues, independents and even Democrats showed up and voted Republican or switched their party registration to Republican. That's my take. My thought is, it's time to have a serious moment of reckoning, and that moment starts with one person, Mitch McConnell. That's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.